Hello, all. Very good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Vishnu.
Good evening, Vishnu.
Yeah, so how was the day, everyone? Hoping was a good one.
Long day, Vishnu.
Yeah, okay. So let's get started then. So anyone has any queries from last sessions? Anything? Anyone wants me to revisit any topic?
Not from my side, Vishnu.
Okay, yeah. Okay, right. So let's get started. So today my agenda, what I felt was we were actually
Hello,
seeing
Vishnu.
yeah, Jayesh.
Hello. Yesterday, like last session, I have one doubt that caching mechanism. It will be handled in application side code, or as part of our performance testing. Just like we should be taking care whether that caching is disabled or enabled according to conditions, right? That is the
Yeah,
only
yeah. So basically, I will explain you what happens, right?
okay.
Okay, let me. Yeah. So when we generally do performance tests, so the first thing, there are different types of caching. Okay. So you need to the server side, whatever is there, right? For example, there is a web server caching or a DB. DB caching generally it will be enabled by default in all DBs. You don't need to ask that it is there or not. But web server caching and other caching, you should get an idea whether we have it or not in the various systems that we can get from the developers, that data. Okay. So you just need to ask whether, can you give me all the caching, whatever cachings are enabled in our infrastructure? Just that's what you need to ask. Okay. So that's one thing. Second thing, what you are handling in your JMeter script is your browser caching, not your server caching. Okay. So that you have to enable in your script by default. Okay. By default, any web service you are testing, you have to clear your cache each iteration in your JMeter. Okay, so that's the only thing you need to take care in your JMeter, right? Yeah, browser side cache. Yeah. Anyways, we will see this, okay, in detail. That time you'll understand further when we see it in JMeter live. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vishnu. Yeah.
Yeah. Is my voice breaking? Is it okay for all?
Yes, it's breaking for me little. I mean, little pause
Yeah,
is
even I
happening.
was feeling that
Your voice.
your voice is coming little broken. What about others?
It's fine from.
It's fine for me.
It is fine, Vishnu.
Yeah. Okay, right. So let's get started. I am sharing my screen. So today, the first thing we will understand is how, before I jump into how to install JMeter and run a test, first half an hour, what I was thinking is I will continue on the performance testing concepts that we were seeing. We will understand various types of tests and some bottlenecks that we come across, okay, generally when we are testing. And some such concepts we will see. So generally what I do is I switch between theory and practicals when there is theory, okay. So that the whole session doesn't cover only theory, right? So we do some hands-on also. So first, like around 15-20 minutes, I will speak on the performance testing concept, and then we will jump into how to install JMeter, how to run a basic test in JMeter, how to record something in JMeter very quickly. Okay, so that we will see. Because even I want to, why I am covering these things in a little fast track way is because this might be the last demo session, right? Which is open to all. So I thought, okay, whoever joined should get maximum out of it, right? So that maybe they can, I don't know, maybe when they do some self-learning and all, they can understand it further or whatever, right? So that's why I have planned today's session in that way, so that you get an overall idea what the whole thing is about. Right. So now coming to the concept. Okay. So today, so last time we saw what's a CDN, right? Anyone has any doubt in what is a CDN? Okay, right. So now today, quickly, there's one more component that actually is very important as a performance tester to know, which is a load balancer. So can someone say like what you have heard about load balancer? What does it do?
It will control the load among people.
From the name, what do you think it is?
It will control the traffic, network
Mhm.
traffic.
Yeah,
Balances the load.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Good, good. Anything else? So how do you think it balances the load? Like what does it control?
So basically in LoadRunner, how they used to balance the loads at different virtual machines,
Yeah.
sending
Yes. So
loads.
can someone say that word? Like what is that thing that it controls?
Basically, Vishnu, it distributes all the incoming traffic to the multiple instances as you draw the picture.
Yeah. Can I say request?
Yeah, you can say that's the
Okay.
same thing.
So
Yes.
now since we are into performance testing domain, so let's start using those terminologies, right?
Yes, absolutely
Okay.
correct.
So request, transactions. So let's try to use that. So as I said, requests and transactions are pretty much same. Okay, I will explain this further when we go to scripting. So, but for now, you can say request and transactions are pretty much same. Okay, if you say a request, for example, this transaction word is more common in performance testing. You can say like that. Okay, requests are mainly common across, like even development, automation testing, functional testing, security testing. Everywhere this request is common. Transaction comes mainly when we do performance testing. Okay, generally in other testing practices, this transaction word doesn't come. Okay, so there's a reason behind it. That also we will see why. Okay, right. Now coming to load balancer. So what this load balancer does, right? Let's say uh, my requests are coming from here. Okay, let's say some n number of requests. So let's say around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some 8 requests are coming from multiple browsers or whatever. Okay, some mobile applications or anywhere. Now, what will happen is all of them will first, where are they going? They are going into a server. Okay. Now, let's say when I say server, right, this server can be one CPU. When I say CPU, means like you have RAM, you have the CPU, you have the disk. Okay. When I say one CPU. Now, this can be 2 CPUs or even 4 CPUs. Can someone say why? Why it is not always one CPU, my server? Why I need 2, 4, 5, or 8 or whatever that number more CPUs? Why do I need in my server?
Because we
Like
need
yesterday, you explained about CDN, like some heavy files are distributed to the other servers, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So see, for example, now let's say this is my laptop. Okay. And in my laptop, if I go to the task manager and if I go to this icon here, I can see my performance. Okay. Or something like CPU, memory, disk, and all. In CPU, if I go, I can see my processor, how much core processor it is. And in memory, I can see how much GB of disk RAM I have, 16 GB. Similarly, disk I can see, right? Now see, these are all the processes which are running in my system. But can you clearly see 20% CPU is being utilized and 56% memory is being utilized? Now, what if this CPU hits 100%? Can it hit 100%?
It degrades the
Can it become-
performance. Yes, it can.
It can, right?
And it degrades the
So
performance.
after that, let's say it hit 100%. Okay. After that, if I try to run some application, will it run?
No, it will not.
No. Right?
No.
So same thing happens with our application also. So my server, as my load increases, right? Like let's say 5 user, CPU was 5%. 100 user, CPU becomes 100%. I'm just saying, okay, just like that, okay? So when this happens, right, when it hit 100%, will my application be able to take 110 users?
No.
No, right?
No.
So to do that, what we do? Okay, I have one CPU with whatever 4 core, 16 GB RAM. Okay, I have one. So this will get exhausted for 100 users. But let's say my application will has to support 500 users. So what I will do? I will add 5 CPUs. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all these 5 CPUs will give basically will constitute my server. Okay. Only thing is this all 5 CPUs will be connected to the same disk. That means the data will be same for all. Only the processing power and the RAM will be extra. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Right. So this will constitute my server as a whole, the 5 CPUs together. You can assume like 5 laptops you have, right? It will have more computational power compared to one laptop, right? Are you getting my point, all of you?
Yes.
Okay. So now what happens? I have 5 CPUs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So I have designed it for 500 users. Now let's say I designed it for 500 users, but currently only 100 users are coming. Or 100 requests are coming. Okay, let's say. Now, I am sending. Now, the problem is out of these 5 CPUs, who will take this 100 requests? Isn't it a question or not? Will this 100 requests go to first one, or will 50 go here, 50 go here, or will equally it will get divided 20, 20, 20, 20, 20? Is this a question or not? Hello, all of you.
Yes.
Right? So that is why when you have multiple CPUs, you will have something called a load balancer in between. So what load balancer will do? This load balancer is a software actually. Again, it's actually a software running on a CPU. So let's say 6th CPU. So this software, what it will do, right? Like Chrome or link, let's say any other software, like like Word, Excel, right? It's a software load balancer. Okay, which you can install. And such load balancers, which are softwares, we call it digital load balancer. Okay, so there is a digital load balancer. What it will do, 100 requests will enter here. From here, based on what I have set in the load balancer, right, the software, it will distribute the load. Let's say if I said equal, it will send 20, 20, 20, 20. If I say, okay, first one should take 40% because it's a bigger CPU, others should take only 10%, 10%, 10%. And let's say the last one should take 30%. It will do that also. So if it becomes 100, from 100 it becomes 200. It will follow the same percentages. If it becomes 300, it will follow. So this load balancer will take care of that. So this way, what is it trying to do? It is making sure that none of the CPUs are getting overloaded. Are you getting my point? It's more sort of, it is distributing the load properly, right? Hello? So all of you clear what's a load balancer?
Yes.
Right? Now
Yes,
see, only thing is, now the load balancer is of 2 types. Okay, one is digital load balancer and analog. Analog is gone actually. There is no analog load balancer, doesn't exist much now. 99% is digital load balancer, but analog is also there. Analogs, what happened, right? Happens there are switches. So the switches will get on, off, like that. It will work. So when the switch is on, it will go to that CPU. When the switch is off, it will go to another CPU like that. It's a physical switch, but it is controlled electronically. Okay, not like manually. Okay, electronically it is controlled, but those are switches. That's called analog. But digital is more sort of software oriented. Okay, like software controls it, right? It's a software which you install. So digital load balancers are more efficient and also common compared to analog. Okay, so these are the two types of load balancers you generally see. Okay. Yeah. Any questions anyone till now?
So, like in
Uh,
digital load balancer, sorry, digital load balancer, is there only one way to configure to handle the incoming request in percentage, or is there any other way like round robin?
Yeah. You can have multiple algorithms. Okay. So whichever way you want, you can actually even script also. Yeah. Because it's a software anyways, right? Not very sophisticated like analog.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
If one
Hi,
server
Vishnu.
is fails, hi Vishnu.
Yeah.
If
Go ahead.
one server is fails, the load balancer it can reroute another available server.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Okay. And I really appreciate that you asked this question now. Yes, load balancers not only balance the load, they also make sure your application doesn't fail due to server failures. Yes, that's a very good thought. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, whenever you're out of that 5 CPUs, if any CPU fails, right, what your load balancer will do is it will automatically reroute the request in such a way that it gets distributed among the 4. Okay, so that
Only
also, yes.
only
Yeah.
those requests are in flight that will be not served.
Correct.
Otherwise, rest
Yeah,
all will be
yes,
there.
yes. If something is getting processed inside that CPU at that time, that might get failed. Yes, but others which are going to go, they will get.
That happens in resilience testing.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So yeah, especially in chaos engineering and all the reliability testing, you sometimes switch off a pod or even switch off a server, right? So yes, so such things happen. But load balancer
Then,
generally takes care of. Should take care.
then Vishnu, when we are monitoring, will we get to know that this server is like giving some error?
Exactly. Yes, yes. So AppDynamics and Grafana, both things you monitor at the same time, right? Grafana, what it will show is suddenly that CPU utilization will drop to 0 for that server. That means that server has gone, right? Grafana is not
Okay.
able to read anything, right? So automatically when you see this dip in CPU or memory, you suddenly go to AppDynamics. So when you go to AppDynamics, you will see the transaction failures.
Oh, okay. But
Okay,
will
so
we
this,
get to know it is because of so and so server only?
yes,
It
yes,
is.
yeah, because every server has a number, no?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that from that number we know which server failed. Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
In
Thank you.
Grafana, you get that details. Basically, the IP of that server.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now see.
Yeah, hi, Vishnu.
Yeah. Good.
Can you please tell me the difference between load generator and load balancer?
Sure. Sure, Krishna. Now those are two different things. Okay, totally different. Okay. LGs are load generators and LB are load balancers. LG comes in performance testing. Okay. Load balancers are a general concept in software infrastructure. So what is an LG? LG is nothing but, see, let's say I'm running a performance test. And when I run 100 users, let's say my memory utilizations become 100% and even CPU becomes 100%. So if I want to run 200 users, will I be able to do that in my machine? Because with 100
No.
users, already my CPU and RAM have become 100% when I ran a JMeter test for 100 users. But now if I were to go to 200 users, already my CPU is at 100, right? And RAM. So if I were to go to 200 users, I will have to add one more CPU. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is called an LG. This extra CPUs, right? Which I add in performance testing. That is called LGs. Getting my point, Krishna?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Yeah.
No.
So that's the difference between load balancer and a load generator that we will see. Okay. But anyways, now since we are discussing that also, you can remember. So whatever extra CPUs we add for that extra juice we require to run that performance test, right? That we call load generators. And how we configure load generators into JMeter, that we will learn when we go to distributed testing. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So now coming back to our load balance. Now see, we have seen multiple different things. Okay. So let me put all of those into a diagram so that you get an idea how a large physical architecture of an application generally looks like. Okay. In a modern era, right? How it looks like so that you can correlate things with that. That is one thing. Second thing is when I have a browser and I'm entering, let's say, a.com. When I enter a.com, what it will try to find first? What it will try to find?
IP address.
Yes.
IP address.
It will find the IP. Then it will try to go to that IP address. Basically, this IP address is for a CPU, right? Where somewhere sitting in cloud or even my house, anywhere. Okay, it has every system or every CPU in which an application is running, which is exposed to the internet, has an IP address. Okay, it will go to that CPU. Now, my question to you, all of you, is from based on our understanding, this IP address, which is linked to this a.com, will be which IP address? Since I have 5 CPUs for my server, which IP address it will point to?
Load balance.
Exactly, right? It will point to the load balancer IP. Because from there, it will go to that 5 CPUs. Are you getting my point, all of you?
Yes.
Can you
Yes,
can you
Vishnu.
just start
And
from
in
the
Sorry, I got two voice. Yeah, repeat the question.
can you repeat this topic just from starting?
Okay. So what I'm saying is, let's say, or I will explain it this way so that everyone understands what I meant. So when I enter a.com, it will try to find the IP address. Is that part clear to all?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the IP address, it will go. Okay. So to that CPU where my application is running. Till here, all good?
Okay.
Okay. Now, if it is one CPU, it is okay. What about if my application is running on 2, 3, 4 CPUs? Which IP address it will go? Because every CPU will have a unique IP address.
Depend on the load balancer algorithm.
Exactly, right? So in this case, when you have multiple CPUs, this IP address will be of your load balancer, not of your CPU. Are you getting? Because from there, your request will go to each CPUs. I hope this part, all of you got what I'm trying to say. Because this load balancer is also running on a CPU. Okay.
Vishnu,
Yeah.
is a load balancer is a freeware or do we need to buy a license?
No, we have open source. Yes, we have open source. Even paid is also there. Now, better ones are paid ones.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
When you install only after installing the load balancer in the server, then the IP address will be generated for that one.
Not like that. Okay. So what happens, right? See, this IP address is there for your CPU as soon as the CPU is up and it is exposed to the network. It's more sort of, see, for example, if I go to my terminal and if I enter IP config, I will get an IP, no?
Yes, sir.
Right, same. That same IP. That is
Okay.
actually the IP, right? So if I enter
Yes.
IP config, only thing is our laptops don't have static IP. Okay. So the thing is, now, for example, this is the IP, see my IP. Right? Now, this IP address will keep changing because my Wi-Fi or any Wi-Fi which we use don't have a static IP. They have a dynamic IP. Means like it's more sort of, it keeps changing. They give you from a pool of IP addresses. That's why you're not paying extra for that IP. If you want a static IP, static means like, okay, this IP should not change. It should be always this. Then you have to pay your internet service provider some money, 300 rupees, 200 rupees per month for your Wi-Fi. You can do that actually. So there are two IPs, static IP and a dynamic IP. Okay. So if you are generally when we connect to Wi-Fi and all, it is a dynamic IP. Keeps changing each time you disconnect and all sometimes. Are you getting all of you? What I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
But our applications will have a static IP. Okay, so they generally will have a static IP, and always that IP, whenever you hit a DNS or that Amazon.com or something, it will go to that IP. And for every CPU, that IP will come. As soon as you create a CPU in cloud or even your on-premise.
But those CPU address, IP address keeps changing, right?
No. That's why I said it's for us, not for them. We are poor people. We are on Wi-Fi.
No. What I'm talking, when you cloud, you delete CPU, you delete any instances,
No.
right?
What you do when you delete a CPU, when the new one comes, still that IP is with you only. It's static IP. You have bought it already.
Okay.
Are you getting? If you buy 10 IPs, the 10 IPs will be you because you are paying for it.
So service provider itself, they provide a static IP.
Correct. Yes. So basically, as soon as they create 100, right? 172.
So basically, when we configure a load balancer, we include the IP address along with the host name, right?
Yes. Because otherwise, how your load balancer will know where the CPUs are? Because
Right.
even load balancer should send an IP, right?
But in one cluster, there are many load balancers, right?
Could be. I mean, like not necessary, but could be. Because if you have multiple services, right? That's why.
Right.
Yeah, that's why in Kubernetes, you don't have load balancers. Inside Kubernetes, Kubernetes will take care of it automatically, the load balancing.
But when we use HA proxy,
yeah, correct.
So in that HA proxy, we define host name along with the IP address, right?
Yes,
So,
correct. Yeah.
So in that, what happens? Suppose one microservices is have a 3 instances or 4 instances.
Yes.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
So when we generate a load, when we generate a request, it hits the first IP address because we identify the CPU utilization is something there like 5%, 10%. Usually, is there any other way to identify my which IP address or which CPU is going to be currently being used? Suppose there is a minimal request. So there is a little fluctuation which we can.
Generally have some health checks, okay, which we do. Okay. Based on health checks, it will keep monitoring, okay, which CPU is getting utilized more and all. That also load balancer does. It's called probing. I'm audible? Suddenly it's a silence. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Vishnu, you're audible.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm not spending more time on this. We have to move to other topics also. Any doubts, anyone? Siddharth? It was Siddharth, right? No, sorry. Who was asking the doubt? Okay. Yeah. Anyways, let's move ahead.
Yeah, Vishnu, I have one query. If we conduct any distributed load, we need to give IP address, right? So which IP address we need to give to execute distributed?
This IPv4.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is like a load balancer IP addresses, right?
Okay. You're asking not of your LG, but when you run your performance test, which IP is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Correct. You have to give your load balancer IP. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's how things happen. Okay. Now this one I wanted to just clear. Now quickly I will draw the physical architecture. This is a more common one. Not that all these things will be there in an application, but commonly, okay, commonly this is what you will see. Okay, so first thing, let me start from the back. Okay, so how generally the architecture will look like. Now, first thing I will have is my, when I say server, assume, okay, when I say server, it could be 1 CPU, 2 CPU, 3 CPU, whatever. Okay, so let's say this is a DB server. Now, again, when I say DB server, this can be a group of 2 CPUs, 3 CPUs, 5 CPUs, whatever. How much ever your DB requires to run. Is it clear to all? When I say server? Because DB is also software, right? For example, we have MySQL DB, Oracle DB. All these are softwares which run in this group of CPUs as a DB server.
Vishnu, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vishnu, I mean, data is delayed with me displaying in my monitor. I don't know it is happening with me only or not. I mean, like your images you are drawing, right? I'm getting very delayed. Is that so with all of them? Because I'm not getting.
Is it with everyone?
No,
Your
that's
voice
not
is
for me.
clear.
That's not for me.
Okay. Jayalakshmi, maybe what you can do, no? Do you want to just rejoin? Yeah, Kalpana, please go ahead. You raised your hand.
Okay.
No, I'm telling you that I have seen issue like
Okay. Not sure why could be, because my network speed is I think okay today. Let me see. Little bit low. Okay, let me see. But still fine only, I think. Is it for everyone? Like anyone else facing the same issue?
No, not for me. It's absolutely clear for me.
No.
Okay.
For me also.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's continue then, and let me know if it is too bad. Maybe we can. Okay. So after DB server comes our sometimes. So this is where our backend will come into picture. Okay. When I say backend, it can be microservices or our backend code, right? That server. Okay. We basically where our backend processing everything will happen, right? So that it could be microservices, your Kubernetes cluster or whatever, right? So this is your backend. And this is where your web server will also come into picture. Web server and also sometimes app server. Based on your, if it's an app, you'll have an app server. If it's a website or something, you'll have a web server. Okay. So again, you go like this. Then from here, it will land into something called a middleware. Now see, as I said, it's not that all your applications will have this. Some might be optional. Okay. So middleware might be optional. Middleware is more sort of like a security layer before entering backend. Okay. It will hit the middleware, your request when it comes. Then you will have your CDN. And then you will, your browser, right? From where you are browsing, the customer is sending the request, that will come. So basically, this is how your architecture will look like generally in most of the systems. Okay, the physical architecture will look like. Now here, if we focus on this part, right? Only this part, this much, okay? It's focusing on this much part. If I pick up like this and I just drop it here, okay? So again, I have the middleware. So as I said, middleware is the first entry point, more sort of like a security layer before it enters my backend. Okay. Now what this backend is where load balancer will come. Then it will route to the various CPUs, whatever I have in the instances, I can call it instances, nodes, or systems, whatever. Okay. So this is my, let's say the backend I have. This whole thing is called backend. And this thing can be where it can be on the cloud, let's say Azure or AWS or wherever. this whole backend. I can configure on cloud. Basically nothing. All these 5 CPUs, whichever I have, including load balancer, will be of the cloud, basically on AWS or Azure or wherever. Or else what I can do is this 5 CPUs I can keep at my home also. So there are 2 things. If it is in home, it's called on-premise. And if it is in cloud, we call it anyways off-premise. Or sorry, not off-premise, we call it cloud. Okay. Or you can say, basically, it's if it is not in my home, it's with some third-party provider, right? Someone else is providing, like cloud or somewhere else. So we call it also off-premise. So what is there in on-premise and off-premise? What do I keep there? Like what do I take from them? Anyone?
Infrastructure.
Yes, the CPUs, right? They give me that CPU, the IP, the network and all. Okay, and I pay them for that. Okay, I will put my code into those disk which they provide and use their CPUs to run that application, right? They provide the IP and all those. So they manage all those stuff. Then it's a off-premise. If I manage everything, it's an on-premise. Now the question is, which is good? On-premise or off-premise?
Off-premise.
Depends on the requirement.
Okay. What about, let's say, I have some credit card details which I want to store. Where can I store?
On-prem.
On-prem, right? I cannot give it to off-premise, the cloud and all, because though they say that they cannot see my data and all, but it's still in their CPU, their system, right? They could, right? At some point of time, right? Something might happen and I cannot believe them. So I have to keep it here. Now, let's say there are let's say some product images. Can I keep on off-premise?
Yes.
Yes, that is fine, right? Product images or even which is not that sensitive. Like for example, there is a portal for collecting order details or ordering, whatever. These things are not that, I mean, like that critical or mission critical that it gets, if someone sees it, it will be a problem, right? So those things you can keep off-premise. Whichever is data is very critical, you have to keep it on-premise. That's why people nowadays, what they do is they have a hybrid architecture. So what does happen in the hybrid architecture is the systems which are very data critical, right? They keep it on-premise, and which are not that data critical, they will keep it off-premise. Now the next question to all of you: if okay, why at all do we choose off-premise? Let's go on-premise only, no, always. Why do we need it?
Maintenance.
Scalability is better in cloud.
Okay, so I will use the word maintenance. That's a good point. Even scalability. Okay, yes. Anything else?
Cost reduction.
Exactly. Cost. Yes. Okay. So now let me explain you how these things are coming up. How the maintenance, scalability, cost, and all is getting reduced very quickly. Okay. So maintenance. See, now let's say I'm buying a 10 CPU because let's say in a year 500 users are using my application, and I need 10 CPUs to handle that 500 user load. So I buy 10 CPUs for, let's say, 10 lakh. Okay. Now, 10 CPUs are there. I need internet, some expense, so Wi-Fi and all, power and all those. Let's say extra 1 more lakh an year. Okay, 1 more lakh I need to spend. And let's say again something, okay, whatever, some miscellaneous expenses, all will come under this 11 lakhs. So this is when I do on-premise. Now, in off-premise, what happens is, see, there's a problem here. Now, this 500 user, which I assumed, will it be always 500 user throughout the year?
It will increase or decrease, yeah, depend on situation.
Yeah. So let's assume for this case that it doesn't increase. This is a maximum, okay, which I am expecting. But will it reduce?
Yes.
Yeah, depends, Vishnu.
Yes, right?
It
Yes,
might.
it might reduce, right? So let's say the users become 50. Do the 50 user need 10 CPU?
No.
No.
No, they might need only 2 CPU, and the cost of that is just 2 lakhs. So rest of the 8 lakh is actually waste for me. And let's say this 50 users, or when this becomes 500 users, only let's say during Christmas or some festivals like Ramzan, or let's say Republic Day, Independence Day, some days like that. So around, let's say 20% of the year, only this 500 users are coming. Rest of the year, it is 50 users. Now, so rest of this 8 lakh. So if you see 20% of 8 lakh is, let's say 1.6 lakhs. So totally the cost actually, which the real, I mean, like the resource that I'm using is only of 3.6 lakhs. Rest of the 6.4 lakh is actually a dead expense, isn't it? Hello, all of you?
Yeah.
Which I don't need to spend, right? So, but there's a good thing about cloud, okay? Cloud, if I can get a CPU in a minute, and I can delete a CPU in a minute if I want. Okay, so if I want 10, I can get 10. Suddenly after, let's say half an hour, I don't need that 10, I need only 5. I can do that. Okay, so this way I can do. So what I can do, instead of buying 10 CPU always in cloud, I will buy this 10 CPU only during these festival days. Other days, I will keep only 2 CPUs. So my cost will come down. Getting all of you?
Yes, Vishnu.
Yes.
Right? So this is related to the cost. Okay. Now, but the catch here is, let's say my total cost is 10 lakhs, okay, for 10 CPUs. And one CPU is coming 1 lakh. So if I calculate per day expense, 1 lakh by 365, let's say, let's assume it comes around maybe around 250 rupees. Okay? Just I'm giving a rough number. Do you think, so this is per day, okay, per day expense. Do you think cloud also it will be 250 per day? Do you think?
No.
No.
No. So whether it will be 350 or whether it will be 150, what do you think?
Less
Less.
than 250.
Actually, it will be 350. This is the catch. Okay. Now, why this extra 100? But it still, it will be cheap for us, because we
It
might
will
not
provide
lose,
service.
we might not lose 6.4 lakh. We might lose maybe, let's say, due to that extra price. Okay. We might still we might save 4 lakhs out of 6.4.
Because utilization is in our hand, how to use
Correct.
that one. And
So that flexibility cloud is giving, but cloud is costly also. So in case, now let's assume I am correct that this 500 users will be there throughout the year. Then is it good for me to go to cloud?
if it is constant and fix everything,
Mm-hmm.
then means like it
No.
will never change. Then you can create
Yeah.
infrastructure for once.
Because what happens is, if I invest in that CPU now, at least after a year, it will become zero for me. Right? Rather than paying the rent, which is not mine. Are you getting my point, all of you? So this is where you have to plan whether you have to go with cloud or not. It's not that always cloud is good. Cloud is good only if your resource fluctuates very heavily. The requirement. Okay. Right. So that is related to cost. Now maintenance. Obviously, everything your AWS or Azure is maintaining your Wi-Fi, your power, and everything. So you don't need to worry that okay, something will go wrong and suddenly my CPU will not become inaccessible, right? So they will maintain that, and they will give some SLAs also, that 99% availability and all. Right? So that also I don't have much. Scalability, yes, I can go from 10 to 100. Can I do that in off-premise? Suddenly I want to go from 10 to 100.
In cloud, you can.
Yes, right? Because off-premise, suddenly I have to go and buy 90 CPUs, which I cannot, right? And then, so it's a little difficult, right? Not that easy. But in cloud, it is easy. You just need to buy. But now the main question. Is it that cloud can give me any number of CPUs? How much ever I want?
Depends, right? What package or something you are taking from them.
No, let's say I want 1 crore CPUs. Can AWS provide me that? It cannot.
I think there is limitation.
Yeah, right. So where is that limitation coming? That is where the zone comes into picture. Any cloud will have something called a zone. For now, let's say the cloud which I am using is on Mumbai zone. So what does this Mumbai zone, what is it, right? So basically, let's say there is a building in Mumbai. And in that building, they have kept 500 CPUs. That is actually the zone. Nothing else. And this 500 CPUs is what you are getting as a, like, let's say 100 or 300 users have rented. It's 500 CPUs. 2, 3, 1, 0, whatever. So now for this zone, can I, let's say no other users are using, okay, only I am using it. Can I get 1000 CPUs? For this Mumbai zone?
So there is 500, right? So
Yeah,
Depending on the
right.
capacity.
Correct. So there is only 500. So even AWS cannot give me, right? The capacity is full. Now this can happen even sometimes. See, let's say 50 people are already, they have rented 50 CPUs, or and let's say they have went to 250 CPUs. Now if I want 300 CPUs, will I get?
yeah, because already
Correct. No, right? I will not get 50. I can go maximum 250. 300 I will not. I cannot, because already 250 is being utilized. So this limit all is there in cloud also. Okay, but generally, if you see in the applications and all, they won't need like 1 lakh CPUs and all, right? Even the biggest applications which you see, right, like big ones, they also might have only 100 CPUs max. Okay, for a location, I can say, not a globe, but for a location and all. So pretty much sometimes you will suffice. And also there are something called reservations. So let's say I want 100 CPUs in cloud, and out of that 50, I'm sure that I will need throughout the year. So I can reserve 50. But I have to pay for a whole year, right? I cannot cancel it in between. For the rest of the 50, I can take when as available. So that options are also there in cloud. Okay, so anyways, coming to here. So are you clear what is a cloud now? So they are actually physical CPUs sitting at a location. I hope that is clear to all, no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So that is cloud. Okay, so rather than it is sitting in my home, it is sitting somewhere in Mumbai, and they call it this word you would have seen, server farm. You have heard anytime server farm? We say
They're
there is a
also
server
called
farm,
data centers, right?
right? So the same thing, right? They will air condition it and everything. They will maintain that place. And Google server farm is there. Everyone has their own server farms where their servers are kept, hundreds of CPUs interacting with each other. Okay. Yeah. So any questions, anyone till now? Okay. So
most of the, if you see, as you mentioned, that whenever is required, the CPU will be available by the cloud provider.
yeah.
But I can see auto scaling is disabled in most of the application, or most of the microservices and API. I have seen a couple of clients. I don't know why they kept it. If it is so,
Could be because see, sometimes some like to do it manually also. Right? So for example, let's say you need today extra 5 CPUs. Maybe that application doesn't need it in just a minute. They might have 1 hour to decide. So in that case, manually also we can do, right? We don't need a machine to do it for us. That decision.
Manually creation when CPU is 80% occupied, the alert is generated and they can create it within a minute. But deployment or creation will take some time, right?
Good. Yes, yes. Even in auto scaling also same time will happen.
That's what. So which one is better? Like how fast manual is fast is possible, or auto scaling is fast?
So see, manual has more cost control. Okay, because you can take that decision manually. Okay, like for example, really do we need this or not, and all that. Sometimes your machines cannot do, right? But in auto scaling, it is fast and it is efficient and reliable, because sometimes if manual alerts, I mean like the alerts which are triggered, you are not seeing it, or you somehow missed it, right? So the scaling will not happen, your application will crash. That's a disaster, right? So auto scaling is good in that sense. But cost control, the manual one has better. Because what happens is sometimes some malware attacks also will shoot your CPU utilization. That will unnecessarily increase your cost. Are you getting?
So does the cloud service provider, they charge on the based on the CPU and the RAM size, right?
Yes.
And that. So when the auto scaling, suppose I need a 5 CPU is there for one of my APIs, or 20 CPUs for one APIs or microservices, and it can scale up to 30 CPU, right?
Yeah, correct.
So does they charge always, because they don't charge for the 30 always, they charge how much time is extract and being is utilized, right?
Correct. Per hour.
That's in that way it is cost efficient, right?
Correct. Yes. Per hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm stopping the theory for now here. Okay. We can continue. So just try to digest these things, go through the recordings, and try to digest whatever I said once more. And we can revisit again tomorrow in the session, maybe first 10 minutes again, whatever is not clear for you and all. And whatever I've taken now, this few things, or maybe some of the things will come in again and again when we see the performance test or when we do the test and all, right? These things will come again and again. So things will become more clear and clear as we progress in the sessions, because these are all fundamental. So they will come again and again. That words,
One more word you have used in initial today's session.
Yeah.
That caching will be by default applicable for database, right? So that caching result is stored in database itself or server itself, like
in the
web
DBs.
server.
In DBs, there are various cache like buffer cache, library cache, result cache, various cache are there. So that will be stored inside the DB.
They don't store in the web application.
No. Okay, right. So now coming to quickly, okay, before I go to different types of performance tests today, just let's go to JMeter, okay, back. And then we can come back to different types of performance tests in the next session. Okay, so let me start from scratch. Okay, how do we install JMeter? Okay, let's try to understand how to install JMeter. So for that, first of all, go online. First thing you need in your system is Java. Okay, for JMeter to run, you need Java. So to check whether Java is there in your system or not, first step you need to do is just go to your terminal, enter Java version. So how do we open the terminal? Okay, I will start from scratch. I might take 10-15 minutes more today, little, so that I can wrap up things. Sorry for that. If anyone has has anyone urgency that you would stop at 9? Sorry, yeah, 10.
This is very urgent.
Okay, just 10 minutes. Okay, 10-15 minutes more. Okay, so now this I'm just showing little quickly, but we will revisit again very slowly when our sessions will happen normally. Just I want to, so that, okay. So let's try to understand steps. So first step is check Java. If not, install it. Okay. Second, download JMeter. Third, run it using the bin. Fourth step, using or recording in JMeter. So I wanted to show these 4 steps quickly today, but maybe this recording, I will park it for next session. But at least running the JMeter till that, I will try to finish it today. Okay. So first of all, check Java if not installed, right? So for that, just enter CMD in your search bar. CMD. Just go to command prompt, click on open. So this screen will open for you. Okay. Now here, just enter Java, JAVA version, VERSION version. So this should give you a result, Java version, whatever, the number you are using. Okay, 23.01 or whatever. If this is not coming, what you need to do is just go online, go to your browser. Here, just enter Java or enter JDK. Just enter JDK, okay? Now, here you will just go to this Java downloads, Oracle India, right? Click on that. Okay. Now here you will see Java, JDK, JDK 21 and all those. So JDK 23 you can download. So just click on the JDK 23 here and just scroll down. Now Linux, Mac, Windows, you will see. If it's Mac, go to Mac. If Windows, okay. In Windows, just go to the x64 installer and click on this link. It will download that for you. It's around 200 MB something. Okay, it will get downloaded. Once it is downloaded, I think I already downloaded one file. Let me see.
So Vishnu, 23, 21 is also fine, right? Java version.
Yes. Yeah. 21, even 18, 19 also fine if it's already there for you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have the file here. So what I've done is I've just ran that file.
We are not able to see. Yeah.
Screen is not
visible.
Yeah, I was just running it. So already in my system, Java is there, right? So that's why, I won't be able to install, but just to show you. So for example, this is a 21 version, which I have. Okay. So if I give next, then where I want to install and it will ask, don't change anything. Just give next. Okay. Then it will try to install. But I don't want it. We cancel it. Because already I have 23, so don't have to mess it up. Okay. So once it gets installed, what you need to do is, the next step is important. Okay. Again, go and just type Java version. Now this time also, sometimes not most of the time, the version will not come. Okay. After you install also, because there's one more step you need to do, which is adding an environment variable. Okay. So just enter environment, env. So this option should come, edit the system environment variables, right? Click on that. Right now here, just go to environment variables. Now this will come. Here you have to add, for example, in this system variables, you need to add a path. Okay. So click on this path here. So you need to add your JDK path here. So I'll just show you, which is here. There's a home variable. Only thing is simple. You can just click new. Okay. And you need to give Java _home. Okay. This one. And variable value, you need to give the path of your JDK. Okay, so just go to your local disk C, go to your program files, just only files, okay, not 86, this one. And here go to Java. Here, if you have 2, you will see 2. So let's say 23 is what I want, right? Just go inside that. Now copy this path till that JDK 23. Copy that path and put it here, variable value. Okay, and then give OK. Okay, so that should come here. So Java underscore home and that JDK path. Now what you do once you add it, just go back to Java version, enter. Your version should be visible. Okay, so this much is very important for your JMeter to run. Okay, Java is very important because JMeter is a Java application. Okay, it will not run if it doesn't have your system doesn't have Java. So Java version, you should get a result. That is first step. Okay, now the second step is to download JMeter. So for that, yeah, any questions in the first step? Anyone has?
Yeah, Vishnu, are there any compatibility Java version issues with the JMeter?
No. You can choose anyone from 18 to 23.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Vishnu, for the environment variables now, I have configured that to my Python path. So we won't create.
No issues. You can add one more. Yeah.
You can add one more.
And if you already have a Java home, means like just enter Java version first. Okay.
No, what happened now? My laptop got decommissioned, so I have a new laptop, so I have to install each and everything.
Yeah, just enter Java version and see. If already Java is showing up, don't do anything.
Oh, it's not there. I have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No issues. See, when you're doing, if you face any issues also, in the next session, you can sit with that system. Okay. Then I can debug and give you. Okay. Yeah. So no need to worry that it's not working. In the next session, you just need to sit with the system, whichever you're facing the issue. You can share your screen. I will debug and give you. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Now coming back to the next step. Siddharth, you are down?
For me, it says Java is not recognized command for this.
Yeah, maybe. Did you enter Java version, Siddharth?
Yes.
Java.
But I'll debug it, I'll install it, no problem.
Yeah, Siddharth. Okay. And let me know, okay, if you face any issues.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now next is let's download JMeter. So for that, again, just enter Apache JMeter in your browser. Go to this first link, okay, Apache JMeter. Go to that. Now here, just go to download releases, right? This option you can see here. Click on that download releases. You will land onto this page. Okay. Now here you need to download the binary, not the source. Okay. This many people make a mistake. They will download the source and they will say that, okay, some file is not there and all. But so make sure you download binaries and that to a zip file. Okay. This zip one, Apache JMeter 5.6.3 zip. Just download it. Once you download, that zip file will get downloaded. Okay. This one. So what you do is extract that file. So just right click, extract all, and extract it. Okay. Once you extract, this folder will come. Go inside that folder. You will see all these directories, backups, bin, docs, extras, lib, licenses, and all those stuff. Okay. Here, go inside bin. This files you will see all this. Now here, just sort it as type. So I went into bin. In that bin, I sorted it as type. Okay. And if you scroll down, there will be a lot of Windows batch file you will see. Windows batch files. A lot. So you need to run this JMeter, right? Just a JMeter word is there. There's no JMeter server and all. Only JMeter. Run that file. Basically, the Windows batch file. JMeter Windows batch file. Actually, you can start your JMeter using this Apache JMeter jar file also. But generally, it is not preferable. I mean, like it's always preferable to run the batch file so that you have these logs also, this logging. So with JMeter, this command prompt will also open and JMeter will also open. Both will be there if you run the batch file. If you run the jar file, this command prompt will not be there. Basically, it will not log anything for you from the JMeter here. Because if any errors or something happens, it will get logged here. It will be easy for you to debug. Okay. So that's why we run the batch file. If you run this jar file also, for example, let me show you. JMeter will run. Okay. But that terminal will not be there. Only the JMeter GUI will be. See, JMeter is open. Okay. With the jar file. Now, if you're using Mac, right, you need to run the sh file, okay, which is this jmeter.sh, the shell script. And if you're using Ubuntu, and hopefully I think no one, again the sh file you can use, okay, to run it in Ubuntu. And if in Mac you're facing any issues, let me know it, because Mac is not sometimes very straightforward. I can guide you, okay, how to debug things. So this is how you actually run your JMeter, and there is no installation. That's the beauty of JMeter, right? You just need to download and run. Only thing is Java. If your system has Java, there's no installation. Just download, open bin folder, run the JMeter. That's all. Any doubts, anyone till now, till this step?
Yeah, after opening like batch file, can we close the terminal window, the black window?
No. Because if you close
Okay.
this, your JMeter will also close. For example, I'll show you. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's see. This is the JMeter. I'm just closing it. See, it closed both, right? JMeter and the CMD both closed. But jar file, anyways, there's only one file, right? So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So means compulsory we need to stay with that jar file. We can't close that.
You can close. I mean, like JMeter, you can close.
Okay.
Yeah. So see, why we need that batch file thing is in that command prompt terminal, you will see a log, right? That's why it's always good, because if any errors or something happens in JMeter, it will be visible in that command prompt window.
So Vishnu, if you're installing the jar file, so where do we see the logs? Do we have any particular path to see the logs?
You will have to log it into JMeter. That's a different way. It's not straightforward. Okay, yeah, I think pretty much we are crossing the time today. Don't want to keep you all waiting too long. What I will suggest is please go through the recordings, try to install JMeter, and if you face any issues, you can direct message me on my WhatsApp number, which I am communicating in the group, and I will try to resolve your queries. And hopefully, I think this might be our last demo session. And if at all, like if some requests come to the team and all, they plan. Okay, I don't have much of a hand there. But yeah, if this is the last demo sessions, thank you all for joining, whoever joined. Okay, and soon the private group will be created for all of you. And all my communications will come in that group. So I might stop responding in these groups, because there are a lot of groups, so I cannot be active in all the groups. So I'll be active in the private group. So please post your queries there once it's created. Now, till that, whatever group we have currently, we can communicate there. Yeah, so and all the links, materials, everything will be shared there. Whatever going forward you will need it, right? So those things. And also I will share one link with all of you. Basically, it's like a job DB which I maintain, okay, for the in which you can just upload your resume and some basic topics, basic questions you can fill, so that whenever I get some opportunities, right, I can map you to that. Not promising anything, but it might be useful for those who might be like who is looking for a switch and all, right? So yeah, Divya, you had some doubt?
Yes, Vishnu. Actually, I was asking in the group, like if we remove the static contents, how can we give the transaction response times? That's actually my doubt.
Yeah. So transaction response times, every transaction has a response time, even your elements, right? So if you go to any application, like for example, let me share my screen. Let me go to Amazon.
Okay.
So if I just do inspect network, and I'm just reloading it. So see, every request has a time. See, able to see? Every request, it is taking some time to load.
Yes.
And these all requests are actually your static content resources. Okay, but if you see, all these things are actually happening either on the browser side or the CDN, which is not my headache, right? It's not from my server that is happening. So my headache is only this one, which is happening on my server. So my work should be to focus on this time alone.
Okay.
Are you getting? So that's what I mentioned. So in JMeter, you will actually have only this request. You will not worry about those static content requests.
Okay.
You have to improve this time, not the time of those things. That anyways, once you improve, it will be maybe reduce the size of it or something you do, it's done, right? But this is not like that. Your server will keep changing, right? Your processing and all. So you have to tune it. And that's the work of a performance tester, right? To reduce this time.
Yes, I got it.
Any other doubts, anyone? And let me show you one thing here. All this will have time, okay, see? But these are not coming from, I mean, like my server will not get loaded due to this. My server will get loaded due to that request, which is the processing is happening, right? The real processing, everything, whatever the RAM usage and all is happening due to this important request. So that's what we should be focusing mainly on. Okay, right. So yeah, thank you all for joining and hoping to meet you all in the next session. And it was a very energetic session, so many questions and very insightful answers also. And thank you all for that, because these interactions keep me going and with full energy, because even I have a full whole day of very, maybe sometimes a busy day, right? But when I meet you all with so much interaction, excitement, even I get that it's more sort of like we are playing a cricket game as a team, right? So I feel like, okay, we are all interacting, learning together, trying to grow together, right? So yeah, let's keep this energy alive till the last sessions. Siddharth, you have anything to say?
Just one request that whenever you are explaining the topic, what could be the possible answer question during the interview session? If you add that point during the, so like you corrected me while explaining that.
Yes.
I should use the request, not the traffic.
Yes.
That's a perfect teaching point. So if you can correct it, so that will help to prepare
Yes,
ourselves.
always. Yeah, I'll be doing that. Okay, because I know most of you, at least because generally the batches, whenever it happens, most of you, the target will be either to grow in your career or let's say in a switch way, or maybe in their own organization, or even change the path altogether, right? Like as most of you maybe who are into manual testing and all. So for them, it is clearly important to know the language of performance testers, right? That's where people will catch you. Okay, so surely I will be teaching you how to speak, right? How to speak technically, and the interviews also, how things will be. And yes, we will be sharing those. Okay, so no worries.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, okay then. Thank you all. And the response was really good. We have almost 20 plus members who have joined. And thank you all for showing the, maybe I can
Somebody
say.
has raised the hand, Shweta.
Okay. Shweta? Yeah.
Hi Vishnu.
Hi, Shweta.
Actually, I wanted to discuss about course content and few things. If you can after the session, if you can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Others can drop off. If not, we can stop it here for today. Who have any questions, they can stay. Yeah.
Thank you.